That's what's been happening. So you've got this alienation in Arakan. Fair enough. I mean, that's reasonable,
Yes,
right?
I couldn't
And then
agree more.
the rest of the country takes that on because they've learned that because of the media, because of the central government. It's very complicated. So it's not a sort of let's sit down and drink water together and be friends. It's a whole sort of social and cultural thing that's happened because of propaganda from the center. I'm talking too much, sorry. But
No,
it just seems to
no,
me
I
that,
mean, I think
but
it's
you're
a-
agreeing with me,
it's
right?
a
I mean,
great
it's fair enough.
perspective.
As an analysis. And when I was in Arakan, I met educated people who were Arakanese, not Rohingya, who said, yeah, of course the Rohingya have been here for generations. They weren't thinking that the Rohingya, they weren't talking about the Rohingya as Bangladeshis or something. But it's very easy to inflame people who perhaps have less education, people who are afraid for other things in their lives. It's very easy to get people, again, we've seen this too many times. So,
Anwar?
Yeah, before I go to the Canadian thing, I actually wanted to correct one thing I said last time. 60,000 houses, it's not 60,000 houses, 60,000 people in that village, entire village was erased, and I don't know how many thousand killed. I just wanted to make that little correction. Also, I missed something here. Dr. Tun said, in the committee there were some influential people, and I see stand out two names to me. One is Dr. Emong, the head of the Arakan state. He's the biggest racist I have seen ever in my entire life. He said he will go even so far as use Zionism, like Israeli, to the Palestinian to create Arakan state to wipe out Rohingyas. That's what he says. It is in the newspaper. It is in the record. The Kokoji, he said he doesn't know anything. He's uneducated. He doesn't have enough knowledge. He said Rohingyas are Bangladeshi. So we have, in that kind of mentality, people in the group of 27. What do you expect? And there is no single Rohingya in that committee, unfortunately.
So tell me, you've got the Rohingya Association of Canada.
Yes.
What is that community doing?
We have been doing, I actually have been helping these newly resettled refugees from Bangladesh, from the Rohingya community, because they have been in Bangladeshi refugee camp, is the worst camp probably ever existed in entire world. And so they have been there for 20 years and they don't know anything. So I have been teaching them from flushing toilet to everything else, honestly. Also, now we are advocating the Rohingyas' right. Not only Rohingyas' right, I also participate in the demonstration for Kachin, Karen, whenever things happen. Actually, the free Burma, to have free society in entire Burma. That's what I do. I go to different places. In 2008, I was invited to UN Geneva twice to talk about these things. Because at that time there are hundreds of thousands of people were running away from my country by boats, and they were getting drowned, arrested in Thailand, jailed, killed.
So what's the membership like for this Rohingya Canadian Association?
It's free. There is no.
How many people are part of this association?
The entire community. We have about a very small Rohingya community in Canada. We are only working with the Kitchener group. There is about 22 families.
And would you say they're all activists? Or would you say there's a handful of activists and the rest are sort of just living their life?
These people, they do not know much. Only a few, they're interested in helping, going out and helping and talking to people. You know, we are these people, we are in a very big trouble. Please help us.
Okay, so like Dr. Tun, you've heard some information here. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts would be that I would have to agree more with Ms. Naomi here. There are people in the government, high up in the government, who are reformers, sincere reformers. They want change. They have enough of this, dictatorship. That didn't work for half a century now. They know. I hope they know. And then they are hardliners who just don't want to change. And between them, this propaganda, as I said, it was created. So what I would say just on this Rakhine, issue is that please look into it yourself. Verify the information that you have. Answer your own questions by reading more into it, rather than just receiving all the fabricated and exaggerated information and then jumping to conclusions. That would not be productive.
Okay.
And then the other thing about the Canadian government is that Canada is a multicultural, diverse country, and it has done a very good job creating a peaceful coexistence. So that record, that practice should be very, useful in aiding us to create that kind of same free society without discrimination, peaceful coexistence. That is the wish of my people. That is the wish of people of Burma. That is what we want.
Thank you very much. Naomi, you got your book, Burma, A River of Flavors.
Rivers of Flavor.
Rivers of Flavor.
Yeah.
Nice name.
Now, is that book?
I think it's a great name because there's so much good food there. Whoa.
So what were you hoping to achieve with this book? Is this sort of a symbolism of, how we can bring peace, or?
No, I just thought, Burma was this sort of closed book, really, and I was curious, and I've written about other places in the region, and so I went in trying to make, my whole goal with talking about food and telling stories about people and food is to bring a place to life for people elsewhere. So Burma is sort of the other, and to make the other less other, to bring it, to give it dimension, and have everybody see these are human beings living in a very different place, but raising their children, caring about things, having disputes, having issues, and trying to bring it to life, but also to say it's a phenomenally rich set of cultures, like all of these different cultures in this country, and together it's sort of a culture, but it's multi-strand, and the food is just an extraordinarily good entry point into kind of a glimpse of the richness of the country.
Are you hopeful for Burma?
Oh, of course I'm hopeful for Burma, because there's such pent-up readiness to get things better, to get what Aung San Suu Kyi says, a Panglong agreement for the 21st century, in other words, a peace agreement that can pull the country together.
Excellent. So I'd like to thank both Dr. Tun and Naomi Dogood for being on the studio. We're going to be joined by two other guests after the break, so we'll come back after the break. But thank you so much for sharing your insight and your thoughts with the studio, and we're going to continue the conversation with you. So stay tuned. Do call into the studio, 905-848-5483.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Talk Local. I'm your host, Iris here, and we are talking about the Burma situation. We are joined by two new guests. We have Mew Ang. Thank you very much for being with us at the studio. You're an 88 generation Burmese activist in Canada.
That's right.
Okay. And then we're also joined by Donald Ming, and you are a Burmese activist as well. And thank you very much for being at the studio. Tell me a little bit about how you're connected to what's going on in Burma. So you're going to be helping interpreting.
I left Burma 37 years ago.
Okay.
But my heart is still belong to Burma, and because it is my home. I grew up there, and I have very deep relation with this country, and I love the country. I love the people. I love the culture, and after 37 years in Canada, I still connect with the Burmese community, and also I love everybody from Burma, including people as Rohingyas. I did help them. Some Rohingyas brothers, sisters, they were here, and they seek advice. I give them then immigration advice, how to, this kind of thing. So I still have a very deep connection with them.
Okay. And Mao Ang?
Yes.
So how are you connected to the situation in Burma? And I do want to let the viewers know that Donald's going to help out with some of the interpretation. So tell me a little bit about how you're connected.
I would like to talk the Burmese because I'm very serious on that issue.
Okay.
ကျွန်တော်ပထမဆုံးပြောချင်တာအခုဒီမှာဖြစ်နေတဲ့အခုကြီးညာနေတဲ့ဒီကြီးညာခြေတွေထဲမှာကိုမာရွေးတဲ့ information တချို့တွေပါနေတယ်ဥပမာအဖြစ်ကျွန်တော်ဆိုရင် BCAO မှာလည်းအလုပ်လုပ်တယ် BBO မှာလည်းအလုပ်လုပ်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီနေ့မှလာတက်တာကျွန်တော်အဲ့ဒီအဖွဲ့တွေကိုစားမပြုချင်ဘူးအဲ့ဒါတွေကိုသူတို့ဒီမှာထုတ်နေတဲ့ထဲမှာပါနေတဲ့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီအပြင်မှာဒီ information အရာမာရွေးမှုတွေဖြစ်လာနိုင်တယ်
First of all, he would like to make it clear that although he was active in the two association, but today he came here is to speak from his own mind, not to speak on behalf of that organization.
Which organizations?
That he mentioned, the organization, the Burmese Student Democratic and the 88 generation. Although he's connected with that, he's active in that two organizations, but he's not necessarily speaking on behalf of the organization. He's speaking from his own
So what are his
mind.
What are
so
your
his
thoughts?
concern is because he saw when you have the caption on the screen that he don't want you to mention that he was from these two organizations, to avoid the people from the organization may criticize what he has said.
So what's going on in Burma? What are your thoughts?
ဗမာပြည်မှာတော့အခုလောလောဆယ်ကတော့အခြေအနေတွေတော်တော်ဆူဆူဝါးဝါဖြစ်နေတာတော့ကမ္ဘာအသိပါပဲ
As the world knows, the situation in Burma is getting worse and worse.
နောက်တစ်ခုကဒီထက်ပိုအရေးကြီးမဲ့ထင်တာအခုကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီကနေဒါမှာတော့မှအဲ့ဒီဟာနဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဟာတွေပြန်ဖြစ်လာပြီးတော့အခုလို့ပေါ့ဟိုအနေထားတစ်ခုတော့ပူလာတဲ့အနေထားတွေကျွန်တော်တွေ့ရတဲ့ဟာပုံမှာ
But what is more concern to him is what he has seen today, even in Canada, what's going on, making very upset and disappointed.
What is disappointing him specifically?
ဒီနေ့ကျွန်တော်တိုရန်တိုဒေါက်တောင်းထဲမှာဆန္ဒပြမှုတစ်ခုတွေ့တယ်ဟိုရူရင်းဂျာလူမျိုးတွေအနေနဲ့ဥဆောင်ပြီးပြရတယ်လို့ကျွန်တော်ကြားတယ်ကျွန်တော်သွားကြည့်တယ်အဲ့ဒီမှာဒီသူတို့ကြီးညာတဲ့စကားလုံးလေးထဲမှာဟိုလူမျိုးဒုတ်တပ်ဖြတ်မှုတွေအတွေ့ရဲနောက်ဗမာဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာဗမာဟိုအကြမ်းဖက်သမားတွေပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါလေးကနေပြီးတော့သူတို့ရူရင်းဂျာလူမျိုးတွေကိုတပ်ဖြတ်နေတယ်ဆိုတဲ့ဟာတွေကတခြားတစ်ဖက်ကကြည့်ရင်Okay.
Today I heard there's a demonstration from the Rohingya community in the Toronto area, and I was there and I saw with my own eye that they use a placard and the slogan that exaggerated and given the fake information about the genocide, and also painted the Buddhists as a oppressor, and this is concern very much to him because as a Buddhist he was feel very sad because they have been walking with the people from all over the Burma, including Rohingya, as friends, and they fought for democracy together. And now, because of this
So
kind of
historically, the Buddhists, the Muslims, everyone used to be one. You work together as Burmese, you know, fighting in wars together. And my interpretation of the Buddhist community is a very peaceful, you know, Zen type community. We've got the Dalai Lama, who's you know, all about peace. But why is there so much? And it seems like the way you know, from what I'm understanding, it seems like it's a very you know, Buddhist versus Muslim, you know, sort of a conflict. Is that accurate? Is that how you explained it?
Yes, something that he just said. He said he saw